Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Putt.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. Today is the 7th of December, 2016. That is on the Gregorian calendar. Today is a sun sign in Sagittarius, represented the tarot by the card of Temperance. It's a fire sign. Fire signs are all about the ideas that we have. The ideas. Fire, think of how fire moves, fire flickers. Fire keeps going, so ideas have a lot of activity to them. Okay? So our conscious mind is working with this fiery activity, and the fiery activity is moving towards burning away all of the mistruth in order to get to the bottom of everything, in order to get to the truth of things. Okay? Reaching to the higher self, that a higher part of ourself that understands what's going on. So this is kind of appropriate to some of the news we're going to talk about today, okay? A search for truth versus the search for things that are false. Now, the moon sign has moved into, and it is today in the sign of Pisces, where it's going to be until tomorrow, and then it's going to move into the next sign. Pisces is a water sign. Remember how the sign Pisces here, it's all about walking past the towers, walking past what we know into the unknown. Well, that's where we are. Every day we move forward with this new president-elect, with a new system in place that we are moving forward with. We're moving into the unknown because it's different. For many people, it's different than what they've ever experienced before. Because for many people, their reality is that they were too young to experience the process of what was going on in this particular election cycle. And so for many people, if they are college age, this is really the first time that they are participating in something like this. And for them, they don't realize and remember what was out there to, there's a lot of unknowns for the young people. There's a lot of unknowns. And that's why we have to move past there with faith to know and trust that life has evolved and that the older generations can guide us forward to understanding what was out there. What is it that we need to experience? Some of the aspects we're dealing with for the day have already taken place, but we do have a couple coming up yet this morning. Right about now, we've got a square with Saturn. Saturn is teaching the lesson of discipline. Okay, teaching us the lesson of discipline. Now, discipline isn't necessarily about a punishment type of discipline. Discipline in the form of, think of like a practice for something. You have to be disciplined to practice. Discipline yourself in order to be able to do a particular task or hone a particular skill. So it has to do more with the idea of focusing. We're taking everything and we're focusing into something that is going to be very usable. Okay, and that lesson that is taking place on the subconscious level is dealing directly with our moon sign Pisces. So Pisces, which has a lot of emotions, now has to discipline these emotions. And then before the end of the hour, Mercury, the communicator, is going to move into Aquarius, which is the hopefulness that's going on. And, we want to look to see the bright side of things. And then later this morning, just before noon, the part of ourselves that needs to be healed can get looked at. And again, it's in the emotional part of ourselves that we need to deal with what needs to be healed. Okay, so that's what we're looking at on the Gregorian calendar. The moon phase is first quarter. A week from now, on the 13th, we'll have another full moon, and again, another super moon. Over on the Jewish calendar, today is 7 Kislev. 7 Kislev, the year 5777. Space weather, solar wind currently at 353.2 kilometers per second. Planetary K-index, quiet at the moment. See, this looks like it's going to stay that way over the next 24 hours. Large coronal hole in the bottom of the sun. Looks like the sun's splitting in two, doesn't it? And of course we will feel the effect of there. Here we have another object hovering over the flat Earth. As you can see right there, we're looking at a disk. We're not looking at the Earth and seeing the whole proximity. We're above it, like if we were to rise above a quarter, set a quarter on the table and lift above it. You see the outside portions of it, but you're not seeing something that is a round sphere when you look at it. You're just seeing the outer edges, and you can tell the flatness that's going on. Anyway, I defer. I'm going to move back here. M-class flare possibilities 5, X-class 1. Geomagnetic storm activity, mid-latitudes hanging at 30%. Upper latitudes staying stable as well, 20% for the majority of it. All right, and there you go. That's our cosmic weather for today. So, again, very important to understand the energy we're dealing with today. We're dealing with a conscious mind that is looking to find the truthfulness of things. We're dealing with an unconscious mind that is dealing with emotions for the course of this day. And we need to look for the hopefulness of things rather than the hopelessness of things. And they all tie together, because as we are looking for truthfulness in things, we come across a lot of different thoughts and ideas that, we have to deal with. And in order to deal with them, we have to process them. We have to be able to move beyond our comfort zone of what we know into that unknown territory. And every step we take in the unknown territory, we become a bit more comfortable and adept at moving through that world. Okay, so there you go. That is our weather for today. UFO News is up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
All right, Dirk. Thank you very much. Today, I've got 4 stories. First story comes to us from a small city in Argentina. Locals concerned, December 2nd. All right, here's our object in question. Location, Cerro La Blanquitos, Argentina. This glowing UFO is similar to both the UFO seen by thousands over the mountains of Denver, Colorado, and the UFO was seen at an ancient temple thousands of years ago. Dome of the Rock, which was also seen by thousands. Alright, this isn't the first time that Roberto Ruiz has an experience like this one on Thursday when he went to photograph a storm. Photographer Ruiz from Jacal in the San Juan province witnessed a luminous object in the skies over his hometown Thursday night when he went out with his colleague Nito Martin to photograph the storm. Their lenses were aimed at Cerro Los Blancos around 10 o'clock at night when a powerful greenish light becomes visible at the mountain crest. According to the eyewitness, the object moved and later vanished behind the summit. This is not the first time that the photojournalist had a similar experience. In August 1984, he saw a UFO from a window of a plane on which he was flying. Alright, very cool. Next, here we have a UFO that appears over Brazil. This was on the 5th. Another light object. This one has a bit more of a edge to it here, doesn't it? Almost diamond shape. Can't tell there. Maybe there's something in the way blocking that, but interesting, this cloud that it's part of, huh? Here's a video posted on YouTube by Garland 1952. It shows a UFO that is making a cloud trail. Its telepathic emotion sensors realize that somehow someone had noticed it, so it immediately cloaked, as you see in the video. Have you ever seen a UFO in the sky, only to have it disappear with seconds of watching it? Yes, you have, and so have most of the population of Earth. Out of sight, out of mind. Okay, so very cool. Here we have a coin, ancient coin. And look what's on it, a big old UFO. Why would the ancient people on Earth make something up in the sky like this? What would they have possibly had as a point of reference? Unless it was something in the sky. Absolute proof of UFOs sightings from hundreds of years ago has been found in the 17th century French token, UFO hunters claim. The object, coin-like object known as ancient jeton, was used for counting. It reportedly depicts a strange-looking circular entity that looks like a classic flying saucer. Even some went on to speculate that it represents the wheel, the book of Ezekiel, the Bible, which they believe the Bible tale of a UFO encounter. Some skeptics say that the object just represents a drifting mushroom or a flower. Others say that it shows a shield. Meanwhile, UFO hunters say that the token is evidence of frequent UFO sightings in ancient France, so numerous that France decided to inscribe such sightings on coins. The object is a French jeton minted somewhere from 1680 to 1856. It had almost the same size as a U.S. quarter dollar. It was used for educational purposes to help people count money and sometimes used as a substitute for money in playing games. It also looks like the jetons with different educational and religious designs. Researchers found the Latin inscription that says opportunis ad est, which means it is here at an opportune time. The other side of it shows rain drenching a plant-like thing. Okay, so there you go. Very interesting indeed. Whatever that particular thing is, doesn't look like a mushroom just floating through the air. It doesn't look like a flower just floating through the air. It looks like a very specific type of craft, doesn't it? And you can see this person appears to be looking up towards it. Very cool. All right, one last story here. This is a story of a UFO expert who claims that the government withheld more than half of the truth about aliens and UFOs. No way. No way. Say it isn't so. Government wouldn't lie, would they? While a paranormal investigator made a claim about the British government's involvement in the cover-up and the truth about UFOs and aliens, UFO expert Malcolm Robertson said intelligence that could clarify unsolved British mysteries involving UFOs and aliens had been withheld from public access. Founder of Strange Phenomena Investigations, Mr. Robinson has collected and examined UFO evidence for years. In 2015, he presented a collection of evidence containing detailed information about UFOs and aliens to Downing Street, requesting then Prime Minister David Cameron to open an inquiry. However, it failed to materialize. He said the governments in different parts of the world, including Britain, know far more of what they disclose to the public for sure. He claims that Nick Polk, the manager of the now defunct UFO desk, once told him that the government did not disclose even half of the truth. According to the documents obtained under the Freedom of Information, the department and hotline for UFO reports was shut down in 2009 for a reason that no longer served to defense purposes and only taking away resources and staff to more defense-related activities. The documents further revealed the Ministry of Defense concluded that no UFO report in 50 years had evidence of a potential threat to the UK. Now, Mr. Robinson has called for the government to conduct an inquiry in several sightings, including police files from Bonnybridge, Scotland. Robinson said that there were 300 UFO sightings in the small town during the 1990s. Mr. Robinson noted that about 95% of the sightings could be explained after checking with airports, the National Security Agency, the Ministry of Defense, the meteorological stations, but some 5% don't have a rational explanation. Early this year, many UFO conspiracy theorists claim that some MOD UFO files which had been sent to the National Archives had been sent back for further censorship. Okay, so there you go. Censoring UFOs, huh? Who would have thought? Would our governments do that? Of course they would. They've been doing it for a while because, well, quite frankly, they don't think the general public is really prepared to understand about the UFO phenomena, even though people are probably more aware and prepared to deal with it than the government actually gives us credit for. So, strange situation as always, but we'll keep our eyes on that. And that is our UFO news for today. Stay tuned. I'll be back. It's time to wake up.
What if our government was responsible for some of the greatest crimes against this nation? Would you really want to know? These are big questions, but these questions deserve answers. It's time to demand the truth.
People should not be afraid of their governments. Governments should be afraid.
9/11 was an inside job. Kennedy was killed by the CIA. Jimmy Carter saw UFO. Answers to secrets you need to know. So wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. The evidence is overwhelming. Step past your fear, take a look. Illuminati lies keep growing, but they're illusion from your eyes. And wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What would our founding fathers say if they were alive today? Must be turning in their graves. Redcoats are coming, big brothers watching. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. What if I land and two if I see? And I on the opposite shore will be ready to ride and spread the alarm through every Middlesex village and farm. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it. When a long train of abuses and usurpations, pursuing invariably the same object, evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and to provide new guards for their future security. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Patriots arise. It's time to demand the truth.
Right, all right, all right. Always time to demand the truth. And of course, this is what this is all about, okay? It's about the truth, demanding the truth, getting to the truth, because within us is the truth, okay? We're connected to a higher source, a higher power, the ability to understand. And if we don't understand the truth, it's because we've chosen not to look at it. One day we're going to look back after we've had a chance to all awaken to what's going on, and we'll look back and we'll realize all the times where we've could have been awake, but we've allowed ourselves to stay asleep so we wouldn't have to deal with what's going on. Now is the time, my friends, for all of us to be awake, to really pay attention to the happenings that are taking place, because things are happening. Now, today, we're going to all hear all about Pearl Harbor. Today is an anniversary date of when Pearl Harbor was attacked. So, what we have here is 30 chilling photos from the attack on Pearl Harbor. We're going to start with this one here. On the morning of December 7th, 1941, the Imperial Japanese Navy launched an powerful, brutal attack against the United States naval base at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. The attack was intended to thwart the U.S. Pacific Fleet from interfering with Japanese military operations in the Pacific. Over the course of 7 hours, some 353 Japanese fighter planes, torpedo planes, and bombers unleashed a relentless bombing raid that destroyed 188 U.S. aircraft, sunk 4 U.S. Navy battleships, and killed 2,403 Americans, with an additional 1,178 injured. The following day, the United States of America declared war on Japan. Here was the front page on December 8th. Right here. And we can see various different, some good shots here, definitely. Aerial photograph taken by a Japanese pilot shows the perspective of the attackers. In the lower right-hand corner, a Japanese bomber sweeps in for a strafing run. Soldiers stand amongst the wrecked airplanes at Ford Island Naval Air Station as they watch the explosion. Alright. Some very amazing photographs we can look back at this time. Officers' wives heading to their quarters. So this photograph from the Japanese film later captured by American is taken aboard the Japanese aircraft Tsukuya just as Nakajima B-5N bomber is launching off the deck for a second wave of attack on Pearl Harbor. Okay, it's pretty amazing. Look at that. So smoke rises from the battleship USS Arizona as it sinks during the attack. Wow. That's very intense. Well, here we got these guys here, probably the same age as some of the millennials out there running around. But we got millennials running around whining and crying. And here we got guys the same age standing in a foxhole, defending our country. Defending our country while millennials are out there burning flags. How far we have fallen. These are amazing pictures here from that day. Alright, so I'm going to leave these to you so you can check out and go over in detail the links available. But Pearl Harbor wasn't everything that we thought it was. We saw at face value an event that we were told that happened the way that they say it happened. But we can now look back through history, and like many events that dragged us into war, we could see that there was something more going on. So here we have an article, Waking Times. This is one of many articles on this subject. Pearl Harbor false flag, 75th anniversary, time to admit the deception. The Pearl Harbor false flag operation, December 7, 1941, which provided the excuse for the U.S. to enter World War II, is about to be celebrated once again. This Wednesday, December 7th, 2016, will be the Pearl Harbor 75th anniversary event. The horrific event was yet another in a long line of false flag operations that have been carried out by unscrupulous criminals, our misleaders over the years. Just as with the 9/11 false flag attack, around 3,000 American lives were sacrificed so that the U.S. government had the pretext they needed to go to war. As the 75th anniversary approaches, it is appropriate to cast our gaze back in time and set the record straight on Pearl Harbor. The false flag operation, in the hope that this information will spread far and wide to prevent future leaders from using this hackneyed tactic to trick people into submission and achieve their dark political and geopolitical goals. To begin with, the Pearl Harbor attack is not a false flag op in the sense that the U.S. attacked its own ships and planes. It is a false flag in the sense that, at the very least, Roosevelt let it happen, and as the evidence shows, he made it happen. Most of the U.S. Pacific fleet of planes and ships were intentionally left there as sitting ducks with no air protection, an easy target for the Japanese torpedo planes. The Japanese managed to destroy nearly 20 American naval vessels, including 8 massive battleships and over 300 airplanes. The surprise attack proved to be an easy excuse for Roosevelt to convince the American people and Congress to enter World War II. Yep, those were the days when the U.S. president actually followed the Constitution more, although Roosevelt was still a criminal, of course, for his actions here. Unlike Obama, who was tried throughout his 8-year tenure to go to war without congressional approval. After all, who would begrudge a nation declaring a war on another nation? after the former had been attacked for no apparent reason. The collective mindset 75 years ago was quite different to show it today. People trusted their leaders far more. People were more patriotic and nationalistic. There was no internet or easy way for people to fact check their leaders to tell they were lying or not. Before we examine the evidence that Roosevelt knew full well what Pearl Harbor was going to happen, we need to consider how wars are actually run. Wars occur on the surface between nations, but really it is the dark force of the international banking cabal that pulls the strings behind the scenes to aggravate opposing sides, instigate tension, and encourage conflict. When it funds both sides to ensure that there is a war, that can often decide the outcome of the war by choosing which side to fund more easily. Mark Twain observed that while history may not repeat itself, it sure does rhyme. A similar type of false flag operation occurred during World War I when Germany sank and the British Lusitania ship, which was carrying munitions on its way from New York to England. There was a foreknowledge the German embassy in the U.S. had placed an advertisement on the newspaper warning people that sailing on the Lusitania could be dangerous. Even the biased and controlled Wikipedia admits the sinking caused a storm of protests in the U.S. However, as 128 American citizens were among the dead, the sinking helped shift public opinion in the United States against Germany and was a factor in the U.S. declaration of war nearing 2 years later. All right, we have a lot more going on here. Point being, the president had foreknowledge of this experience, and it was an event to get us into a war. Now, why do these things keep happening? Okay, these events happen because Americans didn't have a way to fact check, didn't have a way to go back and see what was taking place. So we just took it at face value, as the article said. However, over time, we've continued to have activities like this taking place on American soil, and then they usually drag us into a war situation because people get emotionally caught up in what's going on, and instantly they want to go and react. They want to go and they want to do something about that. So they go and they get ready to fight. And that's the whole purpose of these false flag events. False flag because you blame somebody else for what happened. In this case, with Japan, they allowed the attack to happen, and then they used that as the reason to go fight. And of course, we all know what happens when wartime comes. So the only way that we're able to move past false flags, the only way we're able to do that is when we understand there's an underlying truth in things. And the truth isn't going to come to us from a mainstream source these days. In the past, we may have believed that it was, but now we know that that's not the case whatsoever. So recently we've been hearing on the media, the mainstream keeps talking about they have an agenda. Fake news. Fake news, that's what their story is. Why are they continuing to tell you about fake news? Well, they want to convince you and keep throwing out the word fake news so that they can convince you that anything you hear outside of the mainstream is fake. Okay, they've gone so far as to say things like, only Wikipedia should be read by them. Because the average person isn't intelligent enough to be able to deal with the information in Wikipedia and wouldn't understand it. Only the people in the mainstream media can understand that. And we're supposed to believe that. Well, I don't, because I don't believe that those people in the mainstream media have our best interest in heart. There are some good people out there, but for the most part we see that they are bought and sold, and it's a shame. But don't worry. I believe karma has a way of working itself out, and I believe all of those mainstream media people, one day they're going to find out that their lies have caught up with them, and then they're going to really be disappointed that their life is going to have more challenges than they realize, and that they are not immune from the lies that they are purporting to, to the people. So I think that all will work itself out. We just need to stay vigilant. We need to pay attention to what's taking place in the world. We need to not get caught up in the lies of the media. We know that the media lies, so when the media that lies comes out and starts telling us about fake news, Well, we know that they're lying, so anything they're trying to tell you about the fake news is they're trying to turn you away from places that are actually reporting truthful news. So here's an article. This is over at Zero Hedge. It says, "This is the purge we all knew was coming, shutting down extremist content." There have been rumors all about it all along. Someday they simply wouldn't allow certain things to remain on the internet any longer. The potential to reach a global audience with important information and the idea that it could be in the hands of anyone is just too big. So it is no surprise that many corporate giants from Silicon Valley are now putting forward a unified front to silence free speech and social media. Hashtag, keywords, flagged accounts, logged in various databases will be shared with enforced across the web. Shutting down content identified as unacceptable will now be streamlined, and leave unpopular posters with fewer places to peddle their extremist outside views. According to Yahoo, web giants like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Microsoft will step up efforts to remove extremist content from their websites by creating a common database. The companies will share hashes, unique digital fingerprints, and automatically assign to videos or photos of extremist content they have removed from their websites to enable their peers to identify the same content on their platforms. We hope this collaboration will lead to greater efficiency as we continue to enforce our policies and help curb the pressing global issue of terrorist content online, the company said in a statement Tuesday. The European Union set up an EU Internet Forum last year, bringing together the Internet companies, interior ministries, and EU counterterrorism coordinator to find ways to remove extremist content. Many current incidents are being used to push the idea of new online policing and pulling of the weeds now necessary. The fake news purging campaign was reached across the blogosphere and alternative media and punished websites that have dared to report on taboo topics such as Pizzagate, WikiLeaks, email dumps, and any controversial subjects of the Syrian war and many other serious topics which the agenda-driven companies have opted to suppress. While these platforms offer the opportunity to reach a wide audience, the centrality of ubiquitous platforms like Facebook, Google, Twitter is obviously that they have the power to delete accounts and drive down audience response by tweaking the algorithm. In other words, they can make you invisible. So, one of many articles out there. So the mainstream media, the despicable, lying individuals that they are, want to censor what it is you see because they don't think that you are responsible to handle that information. They don't think that you should know about the lies that they are telling. They don't want you to know about the propaganda bills that are used to inform you incorrectly about events. They want you to believe what they tell them and nothing else. They just mentioned, this article mentioned this Pizzagate story. I don't know if you've heard about Pizzagate. Pizzagate is a story that came to light through the WikiLeaks dumps. The WikiLeaks dumps put out by WikiLeaks, a company that for 10 years has been putting out information, and their claim to fame is that they don't get it wrong, that they vet their information very heavily, so by the time it gets out into the public, it has been vetted and they know that they're putting out real credible information. So because that is the case, the mainstream media wants to tell us WikiLeaks is fake news. And you will hear people who are hearing this agenda-driven message spout back to you, it's just fake news. Without ever having gone to the WikiLeaks site, without ever having been aware of their 10-year credibility record, people will just spout the lies that they're told because somebody on the mainstream channels told them. Somebody on the Clinton News Network told me that this is what's happening and I must believe it. No, you shouldn't. Clinton News Network is filled with traitors. Traitors, traitors, and more traitors. Another topic that's coming up that they're trying to dismiss and divert your attention away from that came up through WikiLeaks is this thing called Pizzagate. Pizzagate could be something that is being used in order to trap people by putting out this story that might not have any merit to it, but it has been investigated for some time, and there are journalists who believe this story has legs. It's a story that is a very ugly story about child prostitution and and child endangerment that is taking place through the various pedophile rings in the United States that many of our high-level politicians are involved with. This is being investigated, but the mainstream media doesn't want you to know anything about this because some of them are involved in the process as well. So they don't want you to know about these stories, so they're going to tell you it's fake. So when you have the mainstream media continuing to tell you fake news, fake news, fake news, it's because we're getting close to the truth, and they don't want you to have that truth. So the liars are going to point your fingers at you and tell you that you're the one lying, even though they're the ones who are lying to you. So let's let them do what they're going to do. They're going to make their attempt. They're going to try to do this anyway. They're going to crash. They're going to burn. It's not going to be successful. The people are waking up to the truths of what's going on. This agenda that they have is just, it's just their attempt to try to be relevant. But it's not going to work. Too many people have woken up and are continuing to wake up. So therein lies the problem for those out there causing problems. All right, so in order for us to be more involved in this whole process of life, we need to be more connected. Connected to our higher self, okay? That's what this is, our higher self, the angel, the angelic part of who we are. So here's an article that deals specifically with this, about how to connect to our higher selves. This is an article that is very important, and we've gone over this before, so it's not new information. Stop, Drop, Connect by Ryan Stolinsky. Stop, Drop, Connect. In my experience of my outer self, I have witnessed many situations where the use of this simple technique could have saved any involved parties from becoming snared in the web of outer influence. This web of outer influence is as apparent as the oxygen in the atmosphere. It permeates everything in this physical reality. This outer influence is constantly knocking at the door of our consciousness, begging for entry, and for some, it's an open door policy. This leads to all forms of discordant creations and experiences. When you are not in control of what comes in and out of your consciousness, you are similar to a loaded gun in the hands of a blind shooter. No, I do not mean this in any way that may insult, criticize, or judge anyone. I do desire to hold a mirror to humankind and reflect what is occurring day to day, moment to moment on our beloved Gaia. This is what I have learned in my experience, and this technique was taught to me by my higher self. I was asked to share this in hopes that you may find it on your path to help you forward a solid connection with your God self. So without further preclusion, it is with great pleasure that I share this technique with you. Any questions, feel free to email me so that I may clear up any confusion. So 1, stop. Technique for reconnecting with your higher self. Stop. Stop the body. In circumstances where this is not possible, try as best to bring mechanical functions of the body to a minimum. Once you've ceased all movement, and it is possible, find somewhere to sit, stand, or lay. The important thing here is to get somewhere you'll be able to relax the body, be completely undisturbed. You can either close your eyes or keep them open. If you are fluent in the art of meditation, this should come fairly easy. Now that you have timed out and relaxed the body as much as possible, the next step is to breathe deep. Take a deep breath, hold in the belly, filling the diaphragm with as much oxygen as you can pull into your nose. Hold for a second or two, then release from the mouth. Blow out with a bit of force, but not too much. As you blow out, imagine all of the tension of the body going with it. It helps to imagine this tension as a color so that when you blow it out, you can visualize this color being exhaled with the breath. It may take a few minutes, a few deep inhales to even feel partially relaxed. So take as many as you need, but also keep in mind that the object of this technique is to reconnect to your God self. Make sure that this is your main focus and your intent, and you are not distracted by simply trying to relax your body. Be sure not to become frustrated if your body seems rebellious. If you don't feel fully relaxed, it's okay. The purpose of this is to dissolve the grip of your connection to the outer world, physical reality. Once you are still and have taken a few deep breaths, it's time to allow the feelings of the higher self to move back into the body. 3, feel. This part of the technique is very important. You must allow yourself to feel the sensation around and within you of your God self moving back and forth in the forefront of your mind and body. This can manifest in a myriad of ways. For Ryan, the heart begins to flutter and beat a little bit more intensely than usual, with what is perceived as a tingly sensation overcomes the body. Remember, although you must feel it back into place, every individual will experience and create this feeling in their own way. It may be a tingly feeling, a ringing in the ears, a feeling of love, comfort, or peace overtaking the body and consciousness for many other ways. The easiest, most effective way to perceive this is to move your consciousness into your heart. Keep in your mind's eye your heart and the sensations occurring within. For some, as the heart beats a little harder and the body gets the sensation of love or comfort from the higher self, the reconnection will be instant. Depending on how skilled you are at allowing the flow of universal energy to do its job. For others, it takes a few minutes of removing the connection with the outer world. Those who take a little more time in bringing back the connection, your goal is to let go and to never try to force this feeling, for this will only serve to block it more. Simply remove your focus from whatever experience has distracted you from your connection to your higher self in the first place and move it to your heart. Be sure not to attach to that either, as that will also block it. The goal here is detached awareness. You notice this working because you will feel lighter and unburdened by whatever distracted you in the first place. Okay, the next one, be here now. After you have relaxed your body and mind, you can feel in your body the calming, loving feeling of your true self. You can now fix your consciousness in the now moment. You will know you are firmly in the now when your past or future experience is wiped out from your consciousness. It helps sometimes if your eyes are open to place focus on an object purely for a point of focus in order to prevent your conscious from drifting or memories of future imagings. Your job at this point is to keep feeling and experience of the now moment of your consciousness as long as possible, whether it be for 1 minute or 25. The benefit is immense. Okay, so very good information. You know, when we connect with this higher self, when we connect with that higher aspect of who we are, it certainly changes the game, because then the decisions and the things we do are coming from a different place, a whole different perspective. And that, my friends, is very, very important. All right? So finally, that brings us to our meditation for today. So go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. And another breath. And let all the tensions in your body gather together. And exhale those out into the world. And just imagine your tensions leaving your body. And breathe in again. Breathe in light, positivity. Let it collect all of the energy from your body. And exhale out all of the stale energy that needs to be recycled. And feel yourself being relaxed. Feeling calm. Feeling focused. And just imagine yourself walking along a path. Walking along the path, not worrying about the future. Not worrying about the past, but completely focused right here, right now. And as we focus in this moment, the here and the now, we find that we move into a different place of awareness. Awareness about the moment and appreciating this moment of time. Appreciating the timelessness of this moment that seems to exist forever. And just feel ourselves in this moment moving through life, and just allowing the love and the light that shines through us to be shared with the world. And in this momentary feeling, in this place of now, let us just think about love. And let's just imagine releasing this love into the world as just a ball of light. Let's imagine the color green, like the heart chakra. Just imagine sending a green ball of light out into the world and seeing that slowly expand and then dissipate, slowly merging itself with the world around you, with the world around us. And as we send this love into the world, we see people affected by this love. Most are affected in ways of openness, togetherness, bringing things in unity. But some feel this love and fight and rebel against it because they are so conditioned to experience and feel otherwise. But just keep sending the love, and eventually the fighting stops, for the love breaks through even the coldest and the hardenedest of hearts. So let's just imagine that we're sending out love, and let's move forth over the course of this day and simply just send out love into the world. Love to those who feel unloved. Love to those who feel loved. Love to those who are confused. And love to those who are certain. Just love into the world without any preconceived ideas of where it goes. Just that it goes. Heavenly Father, Heavenly Mother, we thank you for the blessings of this day. Thank you for the love, the light that flows through us and emanates through us. Thank you for your blessings of your divine essence that shines through. For the light of the Christ that blesses each one of our lives and helps us to see and connect with the deeper intelligence of the universe. So let the subconscious mind continue on the journey, sending out love. And let's bring the conscious mind back to the present moment on the count of 3. 3 coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2 coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1 coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale, and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That is it for today. Thank you so much for being here. All the articles available, First Contact Radio. Check me out at the Twitter feed, Facebook, lots of different ways to connect. We have firstcontactradio@yahoo.com. Stories and links are all available, so you could follow along with them. Just keep sending out love today, my friends. No matter what you hear going on, just send out love. Because right now, there's a lot of fearful people who are trying to present information to keep your eyes closed. They don't want you to see the truth of things, okay? But we're walking along the path, and we've gone past what we know. But those of us in the world, the media, the different forces of this reality are trying to keep us trapped here about what we know. They don't want us to walk into the unknown, because they're not part of that. They haven't created the unknown. So we're going to go forth, my friends, and we're going to create a world without the lies, without the liars, without those who are causing problems. It's not too difficult. We can all get there. We just have to believe that we can. That's it for today, my friends. Keep sending out love. I love you. Keep loving each other, and I will talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.